So the iPhone 13 came out in 2021 and still remains a popular iPhone and even still for sale at around $599. The Google Pixel 8a is Google's new mid-range budget phone. It's their cheapest in the current 8 line and it goes for around $499, but there are a lot of deals where you can get a $100 gift card, and also in the future it's probably going to drop a little bit as well. So definitely coming in at cheaper than the iPhone 13, but which one is going to come out on top in terms of the performance of the day-to-day use, the actual speed? Let's go ahead and begin with a boot up in 3, 2, go. So these are pretty close in the price range. So you can go with a Tensor G3 Pixel 8a, or you can go with an older iPhone 13 for around the same money. You're actually going to pay a little more for the 13. The Pixel will probably have longer updates because this is a newer phone, and Pixel does have a really long support system, just like the iPhone. And the iPhone is going to probably have like 3 years left, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes. But the Pixel definitely turned on faster than the Apple iPhone 13. All right, so when looking at both these phones, the Google Pixel 8a does have the Android 14 on board. 15 came out, but it's in beta right now. And you'll see that we do have the 14. This is basically vanilla Android right here. Well, Google's take on it, and it's pretty smooth, honestly, with the 120 hertz of adaptive refresh. So if we go down here to display, we scroll down, you'll see we have that smooth display option. That makes this phone a pretty compelling option, I would say, just for that alone. That's one of the main reasons I like that phone. Now, the iPhone 13 actually still feels compelling because it feels kind of similar to the 15, but just a little bit, thicker, just a little bit less smooth on the edges, but still quite a nice phone. And for a lot of people, this is more phone than they'll ever need, probably the most they'll ever need for the day-to-day tasks. So let's go to Geekbench 6 here, and you'll see we're running on the A15 Bionic, which is a flagship processor. It's clocked higher than the Pixel 8a, so I wonder if that'll make a difference. And also, we have 4 gigs of RAM. This phone has twice the RAM, 8 gigabytes of RAM for less money than the iPhone 13. Also, this is a 60 hertz panel, but just like those new iPads that just came out with 60 hertz, the iPad Airs, for some people, it's not going to matter. And iOS is pretty smooth here, even on 60 hertz, and pretty consistent. So that's a good thing as well. All right, so here we are. Everything is closed out on both phones. Let's go ahead and begin with calendar. And you can see loads faster on the Pixel 8a. Let me get up out of here. Let's go into calculator. Faster to launch, it looked like, for the iPhone. Let's go ahead and swipe up out of both, and we're going to go into clock now, 3, 2, go. And you can see, I didn't even see that one. It was pretty close. Let me know which one won that down below. But we'll go on a stopwatch, and we'll go into, well, that's about it. They're not really similar. Let's go into App Store, Play Store. Faster for the Pixel. And the Pixel has better AI stuff as well. Plus, because that G3 is an AI-based chip, as the newer, iOS 18 comes out, I do expect that the iPhone 13 probably not to run the AI stuff as good as something like a Pixel 8a. So you got to think about that. Like, how much are you using AI? Because if you invest in a phone like a 13 right now, even though it's a good price, if you're going to be wanting to use AI, you're going to want something like a Pixel 8a or a newer phone that's more designed for AI-based tasks. So you can see right there, faster on the right. And we'll go, actually, let's go into a couple pages here. Products. How about, see if they got tablets or something. We'll go to computers and tablets. And you can see very good, smooth on both. So your general tasks, Groupon, day-to-day, faster on the left, are just going to be kind of similar on both of these, honestly. We'll go into Amazon, and you can see faster for the Pixel. It looks like the Pixel's a little quicker though. We'll go to Starbucks, and faster on the right by a little bit. We'll go into Jetpack. So let's see if the gaming falls apart here, or takes the lead, because the Pixel's been leading the charge here. So the iPhone wins on the game there. So I do think that maybe the Pixel's area of probably not its best thing is gaming. But you want to know something funny? Google doesn't really advertise the Pixels as like gaming beasts. They advertise them as AI beasts, great photography phones, great, software. Like, they don't really ever like talk a ton about gaming. So that's not why you buy a Pixel. You don't buy it to be the fastest gaming. And I'm not giving it praise in terms of speed. The iPhone won that one. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2. Let's see if we have the same story here on Dead Trigger 2. Nope, faster on the Pixel on this one. So the load times are going to vary. I do think, let's go over here to Temple Run 2. Maybe in a more graphically intensive game, the iPhone might win it due to they're really good GPUs that Apple throws in there. But you can see so far, loading up the games quicker here on the Pixel 8a. So would you trade the iPhone 13 for this phone? Maybe. If you want a 120 hertz display, you want an AI based phone, this is a potential upgrade. For some, it would be maybe more of a regular Pixel 8. But you can see which one's loading this up first. Pixel in the lead. And Pixel's going to win the game as well. So very good job here. People are trashing this phone because of the bezels, but I mean, it's got good performance. It's a Tensor G3 chip in a phone that's going at $499, and it's going to go lower in the future. We know it's happening soon. So, and you're getting like gift cards and deals already. So, I mean, you really got to decide, what you really like, and then you have to base it on the software and stuff like that. PUBG launched first here for the iPhone. People are going to say, well, look at the iPhone launched the most heavier game in your entire app catalog here. You picked the PUBG launched first here. I'm wondering how they would fare in the actual performance here. But let's go ahead and go into 3D Mark. We're going to test the graphical performance here in 3D Mark, the extreme test in a minute. After we're done with the app test, we'll go into Speed Test Net. And you can see, I think that was faster on the right and faster on the left. So they're trading blows here, but you know what's weird? I'm noticing that the Pixel 8a, even though it has 120 hertz, the iPhone 60 hertz doesn't look that much different, but definitely I like the smoother scrolling on the right. You just don't expect features at that price. If they can get the bezels a little bit thinner on the next one, it's going to be a knockout success on the Pixel 9a. So definitely that's probably the area of improvement, but I would say generally the apps open faster on the Pixel, with a couple of games going first to the iPhone. Right, so let's take a look at the RAM management performance now and take a look at what this does. So this iPhone performing very nice. What I really like about the 13 is that it has an OLED display. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and reload here. At 4 gigs of RAM, we're starting to get some reloads. What I really like about the 13, that's a total reload. Another reload, so it's lost its reloading here because we're using 4 gigs of RAM. This is just not enough. And a little bit of chop there on Starbucks as well. That's it'll take a while to load that. Amazon with a flash, and here goes a reload on Groupon. So Apple just totally closed. Reload again, closed it. So this is not your multitasking beast, the iPhone 13. I'm also noticing the iPhone 13 is getting a little bit warm on the back in this area. So not my favorite in that area as well. But the iPhone, what I like about the 13 is that it still has the OLED display. It still feels pretty premium, nice camera setup. It's a really nice standard iPhone, but you could also go with the 14 for better performance with the same body. All right, so I expect the Pixel 8a to beat the iPhone here in RAM management, mostly due to having 8 gigs of RAM. This is going to allow this phone to hold more applications in the background. And remember that the iPhone was starting to reload already. Subway Surfers is held. Yep, the Pixel has better RAM management, so this is going to be a better multitasking phone. And what I really like about the Pixel 8a is that the Best Buy Reloaded, I'm not saying it's perfect, don't get it twisted. It can definitely reload. It's not 12 gig of RAM. And pretty good here across the board. What's neat about the Pixel 8a is even though it's a compact phone, you can still split the screen. And it has like more of a simple split mode. You can double tap to swipe on between here, so you can still do things like that, which is really neat. Now you don't have the ability to pop view anything like, I mean, the Nothing phone has that, the Samsung phone has that, but at least you have your basic split screen. And this is something Apple should copy already. Seriously, we need this on iPhones. But Yeah, in terms of RAM management, it can run those apps, hold them much better than the iPhone 13. Okay, so some interesting scores here between this comparison. You'll see the Pixel actually lost here in the single core by good margin, and also in the multi-core. What's shocking though is that the iPhone, while scoring higher in this multi-core score, also was reloading apps. Also, even though it scored higher in the single core, the Pixel was still launching apps first in a lot of areas. So does that matter much? I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and check their 3D mark. All right, so this paints an interesting picture here. If you take a look at the overall score, let me go ahead and show you close. So the iPhone 13 at 14 FPS, and then the Pixel 8a at 14.59 FPS with a higher score, but only slightly better. But see, the Pixel score is better, and it's better than 52% of devices and 49. So these are pretty neck and neck here in the Wildlife Extreme test. Let's go ahead and take a look at their camera launch speed. Now the iPhone might be quicker here, but we'll see. Let's go into camera. Yeah, the iPhone's a little quicker here. And let's go ahead and close them out, and we'll do it again. 3, 2, go. Yeah, the iPhone's faster, and also the Pixel takes a little longer to process the photo, but it is doing a bunch of AI processing to give you a result you wouldn't expect from a phone at this price. So at the end of the day, winning out the 3D mark, not reloading as much in terms of the RAM management, I would say the Pixel 8a seemingly with the 120 Hertz and not reloading as much in a better Wildlife is probably the better performer here. And it has AI processing on the chip. The A series is a technical powerhouse in pretty much most iPhones, but here it's seeming to get a little bit older, and definitely not my choice. I wouldn't go with the A15 Bionic as my main choice of, you know, my fastest phone out there, but it's still very good, and it beat out the Pixel and Geekbench. So let me know your thoughts on the iPhone 13 versus the 8a. Which one would you choose? Would you skip both of these and go with something else? Or which would you upgrade to if you were coming from another phone? Thumbs up, down? Comment that down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.